Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Roast My React. I'm the React Guru and this video is all about the key prop in React. What is its purpose and how can it temper your application if you don't know how to use it as intended. I set up this basic example where we are given a list of 3 dogs, each of which has its own name, picture and unique ID, which is just a random number. We're mapping over this array and rendering a list of our dogs. Right from the start you can see this nasty looking error saying that each child in a list should have a unique key prop. But what does that actually mean? Well, every time your app re-renders, React needs to figure out what exactly has changed and then update the DOM accordingly. It is able to achieve this by introducing the diffing algorithm, which makes a strong use of this prop when comparing the DOM's previous and current state. I know it might sound a little bit confusing, so let's dive straight into our example and see how we can make this right. Let's start by filling out all the breeds. Let's see, we have a bulldog here, a labrador there, and last but not least, a husky. Cool. Now let's say that for some reason we want to remove Bark Twain from the list. However, when we click on the delete button, wait, Salvador is not a bulldog and Sherlock is definitely not a labrador. What if we try to remove Salvador from the list as well? Now Sherlock is labeled as a bulldog, and as you may have already guessed, the root cause of this issue is this beautiful red error. When we try to remove a particular dog, our state changes, which forces our component to re-render, which triggers the diffing algorithm to be run. This process is also known as reconciliation. I'll leave you a link to React docs if you want to read a more in-depth guide. At a basic level, it just goes and compares the node list side by side, so the first old node with first node from new array. If they're not the same, it mutates the DOM and then continues the process until it reaches the very last element. Now, going back to our example, you might think that setting a key prop to the index of the current element would fix the issue. I've seen this so many times. People would just set an ID or something like dog-id and then bam, they're set. Well, let's try that approach really quickly. Nope, we're still getting the same error. But if you think about this, it actually makes sense. If we remove the second element from our array, the index for third element is changing as well, from 2 to 1. And it corresponds well with what we're seeing, only the second item seems to be broken and the first one is fine. So using indexes would be a completely viable approach if we were dealing with a static list. In this example though, we're gonna need to think of something better. At first, you might be tempted to just use math.random function or some sort of UID in here. But that's not gonna help either. These values are gonna be changing on every render and they are defined inside the map function. So let's think. We need some value associated with each list element that's gonna be constant no matter how many times we shuffle the data in our dog state variable. Let's see, the name in this case is unique, but that's not always gonna be the case, as later on in our app we might have, for instance, 2 Bark Twains. The picture might in theory be unique, but I guess what would cover all of our use cases would be this ID field right here. Assuming it's a dog unique identifier obtained from our database, we are 100% certain that it must be unique to keep the data in the system consistent. So let me try that really quick. And bingo, that fixed our problem. The inputs are now associated with one corresponding dog li element, no matter how many times our app re-renders. It doesn't matter now in which order we remove the items because React knows which input corresponds to which li elements and to which dog item rendered. So that's it for today guys, I hope you learned something new and this mysterious key prop is gonna be your friend now. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on notifications if you want to stay up to date with the materials we publish. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, a thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.